Hello everyone, welcome to episode 141 of Teh Tarik with Walid or Chin Chow with Shawn. There's a story there which I will tell you. So with me, I am delighted to have an MP from Jalan Besar in Whampoa, Shawn Low. He is a first time, hopefully not last time, first term member of parliament from the ruling party. And he gave me this. This is now his brand. I don't know whether you can see. There's a party flag at the back, and then here it says Chin Chow with Shawn. Yeah. First of all, I think I should get patent rights.
Yes, I think so. I think Teh Tarik with Walid was one of the things that inspired us to do Chin Chow with Shawn.
I see so many. Dr. Maliki had Teh-O with Dr. Maliki.
Yes.
Well, it's okay. So that means imitation is the best form of flattery. Exactly. Yes.
That's right.
So thank you, Shawn, for coming here. And I wanted to ask, first time MP, and just now we were speaking. It's a huge life change, huge life shift. So how have you been? Oops.
Let me move my mic up.
You can use mine first. Move up.
No, thank you. Let me start by first wishing your viewers a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Not many will know this, but I hope it's okay for Walid to review this. But actually, Walid is also expecting a baby soon, in the early part of January. And that's only in a couple of weeks' time. So if anything happens and we have to stop the podcast halfway, and we apologize and we'll do it again. But really, congratulations, Walid. We're very happy for you. And I hope the baby also likes the Chin Chow with Shawn plushie. This is fresh off the container. We just ordered it, and it's limited edition. But I think it was quite cute, so I decided to bring one.
I think it is.
To you, yeah. So sorry, what's your first question? Was how it's been so far?
Yeah, in Parliament, outside Parliament, as an MP, how has it been?
Let me think. I think I would start by saying, and maybe quoting a book to say that it is the best of times, but also sometimes the worst of times. It's the best of times because there's so much to do as an MP. There's so much difference you can make, very tangible impact you can make very quickly. And so you really feel very motivated to keep on doing more for the community. For me, it's at Jalan Besar and at Whampoa. It's the worst of times because we're still trying to find a balance. It's not just me, it's many of our first-term MPs. A lot of us are still trying to find a balance between our MP duties, what we do outside of MP work, and our family commitments. And I think that is the constant struggle that a lot of us deal with. In Jalan Besar and Whampoa, I'm quite blessed because we have a team of very strong volunteers. A lot of the MPs say that. And I'll add that...
Every MP says their volunteers are the best.
Yeah. I don't know whether our volunteers are the best. We don't compare that way. But we are definitely all very grateful for the volunteers that give their all day in, day out in the community. For me, I took over a long-serving MP, Mr. Heng Chee Hao. He served for 24 years as MP. Wow. And before that, before election, 3 years, so 27 years in total. Very much rooted in the Whampoa community. And a lot of seniors had advised me that when you take over someone who's so established, usually there's a bit of a change management issue because many volunteers would retire with the MP. You won't have the support that you would come to expect that he had in the same community. I've not found any of that to be true. The credit really goes to Mr. Heng Chee Hao because he built a team not just around himself but around the community. And so practically all our volunteers stayed with us. And since the election, we've even doubled our volunteer base. And I'm quite grateful for that. Our sense of volunteering, of commitment to community is still very strong. And that really drives and motivates a lot of us.
So how is it in Parliament?
Parliament, still getting used to it, I must say. I don't know whether the rest are still getting used to it, but for me personally, I'm still getting used to it. I was lucky to be the first PAP backbencher to deliver a maiden speech. That was quite fun. I learned there and then that Parliament as a chamber is very serious. So sometimes the jokes that we tell don't get the reaction we want. And so some of my scripts for my speeches would have slow down here, emphasize this point, underline bold, and full stop. So you deliver the punchline. Right. So sometimes I read and then I look in the camera and I deliver the punchline. Then I expect a response from the other MPs, and then they're looking at me like that. So it's a very serious chamber. It takes some getting used to. The processes, as you could see from the first and second sitting, a lot of the new MPs are still learning, when to raise our hands, even things as mundane as that, when to intervene, how to ask a question. That's all something that takes a lot of time.
There's somebody that guides you at the start, right? That briefs every MP what are the procedures.
There is a briefing by the Parliamentary Secretary to all first-time MPs, whether or not you're in the PAP or the Workers' Party or any other party. So we get a sense of the procedure. Then they give us this book, and it's about this thick, about the parliamentary standing orders. I must admit, I've not read it cover to cover. I would reckon that no MP or very few MPs have read it cover to cover. Right. Maybe the Leader of the House and the Speaker of Parliament. But you learn by doing. And I think it's okay to make mistakes. It's okay to fumble. It's okay to raise your hand and realize that, actually I didn't want to deliver a question, or I didn't want to raise a point anymore, and just step back. And it's perfectly fine. So what happens? You raise your hand, then the speaker calls you. Yeah. But you don't have a question then? Well, you can tell the speaker that.
So
I've not done that, but I think some of our teammates said that actually, no, sorry, actually I don't want to do this question. And I said, no, it's okay, yeah. I think generally it's quite an understanding chamber. The content of the debate depends from session to session. And I was a bit surprised because as a former civil servant, I also pay attention to parliamentary debates. And I've been trying to put more into my speeches references to other people's speeches. But that doesn't come naturally. So that one, it takes some skill to build up. How to refer to other people's speeches and all. The easy thing to do is just deliver your prepared remarks into camera and then not refer to other speeches. But that's not a debate. That's a delivery. So what you really want is you want to refer, you want to exchange, and then you want to build up those ideas.
Okay. Thank you. So now, enough of the softball questions.
Okay, no. We only expect hard questions to be asked here.
Yes.
Yeah. Thanks for the softball question. Yeah.
So that one just as introduction.
Yeah.
So, a lot. I mean, we are about the same age. You're a bit younger than me, about the same age, and I talk to a lot of young people. I'm sure you talk to far more young people than I do. And
I can't say that. You're teaching many students.
Okay.
And the first time I met Walid, or the first time I heard of Walid, was actually during the election campaign. I didn't tell you this story before. And it was during one of our very late evening engagements, 10 p.m., 11 p.m., and then we had a bunch of young people talking to us in a dialogue. And after that, I had maybe 15 minutes just with one person, exchanging ideas, views, and all. And then I asked her, how are you so interested in this? It's uncanny. And she said, oh, my professor is Walid. You should go and check out his podcast, Teh Tarik with Walid. I kid you not. I can't remember her name. I can't remember her name. I don't know whether she's still a student or graduated, but this was in end of April.
Oh, I didn't know. She never told me that. But thank you.
Maybe she made more of a mark on me because of her name than I did on her, so she never tell you.
No, thank you. So yes, and young people, a lot of times they tell me, they are very sick of, they really don't want gutter politics, confrontational politics, and they understand that politics has to be confrontational on some level, right? And what has been going on, especially with regard to Pritam, and I saw the Leader of the House saying that action will be taken. Don't you think that, you've won already, the PAP has won the election, the court has decided already. How many times do we want to flog this horse?
Yeah. I'll respond in two parts. More generally in gutter politics, and then maybe more specific to the current incident with Mr. Pritam. In terms of gutter politics, I am fully on board with many in our generation and many in the younger generation who think that our Singapore system has no place for gutter politics. And during the election campaign, I spoke about the kinder and compassionate society that should also be reflected in our parliamentary system.
Right.
And we should express this as MPs ourselves. One example for this maybe is, in fact, during my maiden speech again, I was the first one to give an exchange with a Workers' Party and NCMP, Andre, where I called out one of his assertions on unemployment insurance, the cost of it. I could have said that, the numbers are not right. We should be more honest with the numbers, and therefore alluding to some form of dishonesty with the numbers. But I didn't. What I said was, the numbers don't seem right. I think the numbers should be like this, and this is why I think so. So talking more about the policy than the person, I think is what we want in Parliament and outside in all political exchanges.
Is everyone on board with that?
More fundamentally, disagreeing in an agreeable manner is something that I feel very strongly about. I don't know whether many people or people would agree. We can see the comments later to see how many people agree. And that's I think the more general frame. For the incident and the case with Mr. Pritam, I'll start by saying two things. First, I don't know Mr. Pritam very well, but in our exchanges together, I found him to be nothing short of a very friendly person and a nice guy. And he wouldn't mind me quoting this anecdote, but when I first came up to him after election to congratulate him and then just to banter and to talk with him and his teammates, he thanked me after and said, "Shawn, thank you for coming up and talking to us." And I was like, oh, I thought that's what we should do. so I mean, in general, I think he's a nice guy. I don't think he's a bad person. And even the nicest of guys or the greatest of people also make mistakes. Right. So the second point is that we are lucky to be in a system where even the leader of the opposition admits to making a mistake, acknowledges the court's decision, and does not undermine it. I think that speaks to a strength of our whole system and the strength of our judiciary and the trust that not just one part of society has in the government or in the judiciary, but it's very broad-based. And that's a strength, and we should appreciate that. And I should also think that actually Mr. Pritam deserves the credit for not taking the easy path and undermining the decision. You see in the other countries, not like countries that you're even familiar with or that countries with immature democracies. You see in the most mature democracies, when leaders or former leaders get a court conviction that does not go with them, the first thing that might come up is, this is politically motivated. And you don't see that in Singapore. I think that's something that we should be grateful for. I mean, even like, was it Sarkozy who also had this recent issue? So even in France, even the mature democracies, you see that. That being said, just because you don't want gutter politics doesn't mean you should not call out something that is bad or something that where a mistake has been made. And I think that's where we should focus on. When a mistake has been made, how do we then rectify it? How do we build a system which works for Singapore?
The COP was formed, the court has decided, Pritam has gone through court, gone through parliament, gone through election. What else needs to be done? I mean, it's already...
So maybe that's a good segue to the next point, which is that if you see it from two different lenses, one, maybe the PAP's lens first. I don't think that the PAP has any political gain to be had from pushing the issue further.
Why?
Because those who will support the PAP will support the PAP. Those who support the Workers' Party will still support them anyway. And I don't think most Singaporeans, at least those who I speak to, see this as a big issue. And so I don't think there's much political points to be had from the PAP, actually speaking. But the question we should ask is what is best for Singapore, and what is in Singapore's best interest? Even if it's not the PAP's best interest. And everyone knows it, right? The PAP will look like a big bully if you keep on pressing the issue. You said it, you've alluded to it. I just read a commentary earlier this morning. You said the same thing. The PAP does not want to look like a big bully. I think the question is really what is best for the Singapore system, what is best for our bureaucracy in Parliament, and what are the values and principles we hold true. I don't know what Parliament will debate in January and how it will land. I think, if you ask me personally, first, I believe in second chances. I believe that even the best of us fall and the best of us make mistakes. And when we admit to mistakes, we should have a second chance to do right. So I don't think that, as a person, I like to write anyone off. Okay. At the same time, we do also agree, and as a parent, you also know that actions have consequences. And you want a system where the consequences are known beforehand so that this has a lower chance of happening in the future.
What consequences? I mean, he was fined. He went through the court process already. And it started from Parliament, went to the court. Now the court has decided, why should it go back to Parliament to discuss what has already... I thought that's the purpose of the judiciary.
We have to see what Parliament debates and discusses in January, I think. But it's most certainly not criminal process that the parliament goes through, right? It is the criminal process and criminal procedure goes through the AGC and then to the courts.
Personally, what would you like to happen?
Personally, I think it would be good to lay out the principles that both parties feel are very important to have in terms of the values that the MPs bring. Personally, I think we should have a debate on giving people second chances. I think that's important. I think the other lens to take, I spoke about the PAP's lens and I spoke about what Singapore's best interest. I think the other lens to take is the Workers' Party's lens. I'll be interested to see what they say. I think it's honestly difficult for them because now they have the leader of opposition who has a criminal conviction. What do you do in these circumstances? What does it say about your values and your principles? If you're too harsh, if you're too lenient, then you have stakeholders to manage, both internally in your party. Every party has the same, and then you have stakeholders outside the party who are also going to.
So I've heard a lot of commentary, and I'm sure you have as well. You know, if the shoe was on the other foot, how come when you had Trace Together, for instance, we didn't see the same kind of responses and going to the debate on values and second chances? Why is it that this is only on the opposition if this is about parliamentary values?
I think there are different types of mistakes that are made. And it's important to make a distinction because when mistakes are made in an honest manner, even more so you should provide for the output for second chances as well. Mistakes will inevitably happen. What matters is how we respond to them and then how we build from there. So the type of mistake you make, the actual substance of it, I think it's very different. And whether it's a criminal conviction or not, it's also very different. So if you make a mistake, it's a policy error, for example.
But the criminal conviction is because Parliament referred it to the court, right? So it's not like Pritam did something outside Parliament. It's Parliament investigated and referred it to the AGC, right? And then so the criminal conviction wasn't Pritam like drink driving, and so the conviction came out of a parliamentary process as well, right? But don't you think that the PAP MPs and ministers, they will never be subject to that process? Right?
I think all are equal before the law.
Okay.
And then if someone in the PAP also breaks the law, especially in the same circumstances, I think the expectation would be similarly of the same standard.
So for you, Trace Together was a completely different...
That's most certainly not criminal.
Sorry?
That's most certainly not criminal.
No, but so the criminal thing is only after Parliament refers to it, right? There was no criminal offence prior to the parliamentary process, correct?
It was deemed to be a criminal offence in the eyes of the court.
After Parliament referred the case to the AGC.
So correct? You're saying that... Actually, so I must say I'm not very familiar with that part of the process. But the facts of the case are that there's been a criminal conviction, which is a bit different. But it's true, the other part is also true that beyond this issue that we have at hand, actually there are many other big challenges that we have to face in Singapore. And I also personally feel that we must set the record straight and must set the rules and principles out, we should spend a lot more of our bandwidth on the substantive policy issues that are giving us the greatest challenges of today. Yeah.
I mean, just final thought on this, because I think it's just frustrating to myself, a lot of people, and maybe not other people. I don't know what's the ground sentiment on this. Just frustrating to say, hey, I thought we debated this already before election, then during election, and then it was already court conviction. What else is there? What other debate on values? And we already know, right? Integrity, honesty.
Yeah.
Right?
So
what other debate needs to be?
So honestly, I don't know.
Yeah.
I know as much as you from the papers and all. I did read, I think just today, that Ms. Indrani said that there might be ramifications for other Worker Party MPs other than Mr. Pritam.
Yeah.
I don't know the details. I'll have to see what happens and see what takes place. But I think Parliament in January will not be a boring one.
Okay.
It will not be a boring one. It will be a serious one. And yeah, because the bills that were put forward for Parliament in January were actually not that substantive bills, but now we have another issue to debate on.
Right. Okay. Ken, thank you.
Oh, my pleasure. Yeah.
No, thank you.
Hey, by the way, this Teh Tarik, I must say, it's the best I've drunk.
Oh, wow. But it is one of the best, I think, objectively.
Yeah, it's very... thick and, as we say, gao.
My wife makes the meanest Teh Tarik.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Is that why you married her? I hope that's not the only reason.
One of the reasons. One of the things that people ask is about conflict of interest, and I think it's worth exploring this because there's always a debate. Why don't we have full-time MPs? And on both sides, right? Both sides. We don't have that. We don't have full-time MPs unless an MP chooses to be. So it's not a requirement. So soon after you became an MP, you became an MD of a company, and I think as long as the rule is that MPs can have outside jobs, I think that's okay. But some people would disagree with me probably, and they would say, MPs shouldn't have this, they shouldn't have that, they should be full-time MPs. It's conflict of interest. Where do you stand on that?
I'm happy to share my views.
Yeah.
Can I understand what you mean by conflict of interest? Like, how does it manifest? The perceived conflict of interest.
So
How do
let's say an MP is part of a private firm. Would it be reasonable to think that there are people who want to do business with that firm because there's some connection to power or whatever it is? I mean, that's one of the arguments, right? As I said, I don't necessarily agree with that, but that's what people say. That's why you need full-time MPs. That's what they will say.
I see. Yeah. Okay, I see. So that's maybe where some people might perceive. Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll give some context to this, Walid. So I am the Deputy Group Managing Director of Commonwealth Capital Group. From January next year, I'll be the Group Managing Director, taking over the incumbent and then managing the whole group. Contrary to popular belief, this is not investment company. This is a local homegrown conglomerate.
Right.
It's a collection of businesses that we own and operate across the food value chain. So you might be familiar with our Pasta Mania, our food services business, Pasta Mania, Baker and Cook, Marmalade Pantry, and a few of the other well-known brands, others than Soup Spoon. We also run cold chain logistics.
What's Soup and Spoon?
Soup Spoon. The
Soup Spoon. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
you have one in Tampines. You have one in
There's
Tampines.
one in NT also.
NTU also, yeah, okay. Yeah. It's a conflict of interest for me to tell you to go and visit there. Just to be clear.
I can say, it's very good. The one in NT.
And then we have cold chain logistics. So we run like delivery and storage for mainly food products across temperature zones. And then we have food manufacturing. So central kitchen, central bakery, central soup production, ice cream, meat processing. Zack Meats is under us also. So quite a few brands. And the experience that comes with managing such a company, which is both not just local but highly complex, highly complicated, and this is not an SME anymore. It used to be SME, now it's a much larger company, makes your experience much richer and something that you can then deliver and add value to. I was here for 2 years during COVID. So it's not something that, Shawn is running for politics and therefore I give him a job. No, actually I was there for 2 years in COVID. The business unit managing directors are all the same, so we know each other very well. It was very easy for me to come back in and work with the same team that I left 4 years ago, and building from that period during COVID, navigating and pivoting that business. To answer your question directly, whether it is a conflict of interest, it is hard to envisage that because first and foremost, as a backbencher, you're not part of government. So you don't make government policy.
Right.
So I can't change policy to benefit the company. That's what happened. Second, there are certain parliamentary rules that we have, and then of course the PAP has additional rules for us in terms of declaration, in terms of even talking about directorships and all that, where we make sure we declare and we make sure that we don't unfairly benefit ourselves or the company. So there is that system in place. And if anything, instead of a conflict of interest, I think there's what I feel, and maybe it's also a legitimate issue that people may perceive, is that there's a conflict of not interest but intertwining schedules. Because having a full-time role at Commonwealth Capital Group with basically a full-time role as a father of four young kids, and then also a full-time role as an MP, it's basically juggling many balls with a limited amount of time. And so it is most certainly a legitimate concern whether or not you have enough time for your residents. So beyond the conflict of interest, there's also that other conflict, right? Do you have enough time for your residents? The answer is that it depends on how you manage the time and how you can then balance it. Generally speaking, if you have all your backbenchers being full-time MPs, I think the parliamentary debate would be very boring.
I agree.
You'll be like, oh, my resident said this. Oh, but my resident said this. Oh, but my resident said this other thing. And then that's one level. It's very important to listen to your residents. But the layer that we add to that makes, for first, a richer debate and discussion. Two, it makes it a more balanced view on what is important to Singapore. As an example, in either October or November, we had a few bills being debated. Minister Josephine tabled the online safety bill. 23 MPs spoke on that.
Right.
I didn't speak on that because I felt that 23 MPs were speaking. Not much more I can add. There was also on that same sitting an MOF bill and an MTI bill, finance trade industry. More esoteric stuff, not the stuff that makes the news, not the stuff that catches eyeballs, but most certainly important stuff. Only five, I think maybe five, a handful of MPs spoke on either, including myself for MOF. But you have to deliver not just what is important to residents, but what's also important to Singapore. And if everyone is not in tune with other parts of Singapore society and Singapore economy, then you really have a very boring chamber. And something that's not very balanced at the end of the day. And that's not what you want for Singapore as well.
I agree. I think you made a very strong case for why we should allow it. I think the other point, which I would say is a political career is so uncertain. You will win the next election, hopefully.
Oh, you're very kind. What's the textbook answer? We take nothing for granted. We take nothing for granted.
But it becomes more and more uncertain, and I think to convince people, talented people, to join, and then tell them to give that up with no certainty of winning. Also, I think I personally think it's going to be harder to recruit people if that rule is in place. The full-time MP.
I see. I've not thought about it that way, so I really can't comment.
So that's why I would be. I'm not in favor, but okay. I think thanks.
But people go full-time for many reasons. They have. I know some of our parliamentary colleagues on both sides of the house who have decided to go full-time because of young kids. Young kids.
Of course.
Quite a few of them had newborns this year.
Of course.
We both can appreciate that when you have a newborn, your lifestyle changes, your perspective of life changes, and what you value also changes significantly. And we can respect that. We can respect that. So I think that my view is that you must have balance. Not everyone has to have another goal, and we just have that balance.
I think that's a good answer. I agree with that. So one of the questions I asked your colleague as well, whom I am really fond of, Yao Chen, and was about critical spectator, because there's a whole debate on identity politics, and I think I've weighed in on this as well, and yet we see that there are people who are seen to be more pro-establishment, who say more pro-establishment stuff, but they also engage in identity politics, but it doesn't seem to be that level of calling out of them. So what would your comment be on that?
I don't know what Yao Xuan said. So, and of course it's good because then we have different views and all. I would say that I don't really read the critical spectator.
That's what he said also.
Okay. I mean, that day in Parliament, we learned two things. One, we learned more about the critical spectator, and two, we learned about this guy called Nor Duros.
You don't know, right?
Yeah, you don't really know. I mean, you have a sense.
You know of them.
It's what's called the Streisand effect. It's really a Streisand effect.
Right.
But then you get to understand it a bit better. You get to maybe dive deeper into the issues. Does the critical spectator engage in identity politics? I don't know because I've not read the articles. But if they do, we should call it out. I think that earlier I said that all should be equal before the law. I think all should be equal before the law, including the rules about what are no-go zones.
Right.
If the critical spectator, for example, says you should vote a certain way because that person is better at being that identity that resonates with you, then that is identity politics if you call it out. And that is something that we should have no qualms to say. There was an issue about whether foreigners should also speak on Singapore issues. I think that's unavoidable. And I think actually that's to be embraced also. I think we should treat Singaporeans and Singapore voters as people who can think for themselves, and as long as the source is not behind some veil where you don't know who that person is, I think we should let Singaporeans think critically about it. And they should also critically spectate the critical spectator. Because we should trust Singaporeans, and I really think that we should trust them to come up to their own conclusions. The critical spectator, I think to their credit, is the person identifies himself, right? Some European.
Yes. Polish person. Yeah. so it's not anonymous.
Yeah, and it's not funded by another larger organization for political motive. So I don't think it crosses the bar for example, for foreign interference.
Agreed on foreign interference, but identity politics?
I mean, if they do have articles that peddle such things, then we should call it out.
It's been how many months since he was mentioned in Parliament, right? I mean, I gave a few specific examples to an MP who was on the roundabout at a family member's house.
Okay.
So I happened to be there. So
okay.
I think she must be wishing.
Oh no! Why don't you share that with me? Then we can.
So there was one particular one where he mentioned President Halimah, criticizing President Halimah, and then at the end of it, he said no Jews, no news, which for me was clearly implying that Madam Halimah is being anti-Semitic. And for me, that crosses the line way beyond the line already, because this person is a distinguished public servant in Singapore's history. Whether you agree with her politically, of course, everybody can disagree with anybody. Nobody should be put on a pedestal. But to insinuate something that the person is racially motivated, that for me clearly crosses the identity politics line. So I guess, and that post has been there for the longest time. Why don't we hear much about it? Although I think Prof. Faisal, the acting Minister of Muslim Affairs, did call it out, and I think that
he did. Okay.
He did
okay.
when that happened. And I think that was the first time, to my understanding, only time where a PAP MP or POH has called out the critical spectator. So, and I'm with the PAP on this. I agree that, especially when foreigners want to talk about Singapore politics, I think we must always look at, not that we must reject it immediately, but I think we must think about what are your motivations and so on. So I'm all for that. I agree. But I guess I'm just asking, why is it that this guy seemingly gets away with far more than other people?
Yeah, I mean, based on the example you mentioned, I would not agree with the article at all.
Right.
Yeah, and we should call it out. It's the right thing to do.
Okay,
yeah. It's because we're the same generation, right? So last time in school you do social studies. Then you have this source-based questions, and then you see what's it called? It's source-based
analysis.
Yeah. So then you know what I'm talking about. So yeah, we should be critical in thinking about what's the source, where it comes from, what's the credibility,
right?
And then
Okay.
Thank you. That. I think that's a clear. I don't know. I don't think we should do a brush whether the critical spectators fully peddling identity politics or that they're fully innocent. But on a case-by-case basis, most certainly the context matters, and we should call it out. It should not be a partisan thing by any measure.
Fair enough. Okay. So another hot button political issue, and then we go back to softball.
Let's do. we should do hardball all the way. We must do the hard questions. This is the hard questions with Walid.
Okay. Yeah. So People's Association and the PAP, right? There is this symbiotic relationship, because PAP is the government of the day, right? And therefore the opposition is maybe denied access to some spaces. Do you think that's something that should continue? As we say, Singapore matures into a democracy, and you said we should trust Singaporeans, right? If Singaporeans have voted, right? Why should they not get the same access as PAP MPs?
I see what you're saying. Yeah, so I'll give you a textbook answer that Ong Kang said in Parliament, and I'll give you maybe a more nuanced answer.
Okay.
So please bear with me. The textbook answer that I think Minister Ong said is that the PA is ultimately a PAP government policy, and the government today can decide how they want to execute the job to be done, which in this case is about government engagement, government communications, and also community bonding. And when another party comes into power, they can also decide how they need an organisation like the PA or something like the PA to also be that last mile of government, that government of the day communications and engagement. That's the textbook answer.
Right.
I think there are two other layers to this. The first one is that I don't agree that there is a symbiotic relationship between the PAP and the PA.
Really?
Yeah, there's a symbiotic relationship between the PAP and the NTUC, in the sense that the organizations help each other, and if one doesn't do well, the other one doesn't do well. The PA is a statutory board, and whether or not you believe this or whether or not our viewers believe this, I believe that as a statutory board, the professional duty is to serve the government of the day. And if the government if the government of the day changes, the PA as a statutory board has a professional duty to serve that government of the day. And to say otherwise is an insult to the professionalism of the public servants in the PA. Of course, not many people will agree with this, but that's the second part. There's another layer to this. I've been reflecting on this quite a bit, and then we can discuss certain ideas. The last layer to this is that instead of thinking about the PAP government and the PA, if we start with the idea about what any government should do for the best of Singapore, there are two jobs to be done. The first one is the government to citizen last mile of communications, engagement, delivery. It's what you do in the grassroots to explain policies, government policies to the last resident at the block visit. Our policies are by no measure perfect, and they are not simple at all. I mean, take the CPF for example. No one understands the CPF. Even I spent 3 years on it, I also don't really understand everything. And so there's government to citizen communications. The second job and the last job is community bonding. You need an organization to build those community bonds for times of crisis. I see this in Whampoa and Jumblatt all the time. When we have fires, and we had quite a few big fires in the last year, whether or not you decide to run out of your house, or whether or not you decide to run out of your house, whether or not you decide to run out of your house to evacuate, or whether or not you decide to run out of your house to help your neighbor first, it's a matter of how strong the community bonds are. And you need an organization, it could be a PA, it could be something else, to continue to build those community bonds over time. That doesn't happen naturally, and that doesn't happen by chance. That happens in a deliberate process of bringing people together from different backgrounds, common activities, common events, and getting the community to be stronger. And so I see my job as a grassroots advisor to do these two things: to communicate government policies, to engage on government policies, and then to build those community bonds. And the question is, if you need to do these two jobs, who can do those jobs? The PAP and Ps are most certainly one port of call, a good group which can do both jobs. For government to citizen communications, because they communicate government policies, it will be difficult to have someone who is not part of that government party to front at least that first job. So I can understand why the PAP government has decided that the grassroots advisors are typically the PAP MPs or the PAP candidates in opposition wards.
What does... Sorry, before...
No, go ahead. Yeah, no problem.
What does giving out the bursary has to do with? What's the grassroots advisor in the opposition wards giving that? Because that is clearly a symbolic, performative thing, which is an important job of an MP's. Well, I don't know whether it's an important job, but it has become an important job.
So bursary, and then I think the other thing that I think Mr. Pritam said before, citizenship ceremonies. Right. I don't know how grassroots advisors in other places do it. I see my bursary awards as most certainly a way to communicate the PAP government's values to the community. I usually speak on a few issues. I speak on the need to give back to the community, because everyone's success is not because of themselves, but because of the community around them, not just their families, but their neighbors and all that. So there's a very strong community element, at least when I do it. Same for citizenship ceremonies. Again, the textbook answer is that, I think, who was it? Maybe one of the ministers said it. That, the Workers' Party can organize their own citizenship ceremony to do it. And then they can shake their hands and all. Right. The way I think of citizenship ceremonies, it's a very solemn event. I'm having my first one this weekend. If you are from Whampoa, I hope to see you there. it's also a way for you to communicate the government's policies, government's values. I will be speaking probably about having common spaces, something that you can also agree with. Speaking the common language, integrating as a journey and not an endpoint, and all these issues that are part of the government's narrative towards immigration and all. Yeah.
Okay. What if there's a compromise? So at the citizenship ceremony or the bursary, right? So the grassroots advisor from the PAP gives a speech, the MP gives out the, and then we will be able. I mean, if we are maturing, right, as a democracy, then we also, the opposition is part of the system, especially if people have voted for it. People have voted for it. There must be some meaning behind that.
I think it depends on what you're talking about. The citizenship ceremony is a great example. Because if your opposition MP, who's an elected MP, actually has disagreed with the PAP government's policy on immigration, then it is a bit strange for the...
So should backbenchers who disagree with it then not go to the ceremonies as well? Because there are backbenchers who disagree as well.
So I have another way, I was thinking about it in another way, that if you are looking at, let's say, the constituencies who you do not have elected PAP MPs, could you not have elected PAP MPs in other places be the ones who shake their hand? So it's something like what you're trying to do, right? Where basically, because you want... First, what you're trying to do, you're trying to get the credibility of being elected there, but you also need the credibility of being part of the government party to be there.
Okay.
That's one other way to think about it. Something to think about. Of course, that means that elected PAP MPs are more and to that credit, we must give our PAP candidates in the opposition wards a lot of credit, because they really work tirelessly, day in, day out, without pay, to do this for their residents, and they really feel very strongly about making life better. So I think they also should get a lot of credit for working behind the scenes.
I mean, I know some of them in alternate.
And they're so funny. They're nice guys.
I saw their interviews. So there's a question here. Let me just read from Ryan. So does all PAP MPs have to agree with the new citizen policies then, if that is a requirement for giving out the citizenship certificate?
I think it's about the party's position, right? So you should definitely be able to voice your disagreement with the government's position. And in fact, I would hazard to say that it is incumbent upon PAP backbenchers to disagree more.
Agreed.
Should not have a filter, should disagree more. But your job is also to support the government in communicating the policy that has been decided by the government as well. So there are two parts to this. You should definitely be able to air your views in Parliament, in other platforms, and we should not self-censor ourselves. In Parliament, I have disagreed more with PAP MPs than with Focus Party MPs. In fact, I said I agree with this. I agree with Mr. Dennis Tan's point. I agree with even like Mr. Kenneth Tiong's point on certain things, and I've said I disagree with some PAP MPs, and that's perfectly fine. But you are also, as a grassroots advisor, there to communicate the policy that has been debated in Parliament and then decided. So I think that's an important point to be made.
In fact, I think that's
thanks for the question, Ryan.
Thanks, Ryan.
Thank you.
So if we could move a little bit, I mean, this is a political hot button, I suppose, but it's not. It's not your fault or any. There's nothing.
But we should definitely talk about it.
So HDB prices, So this house is 7 years. I bought it for 390. Now it's valued at 800,000.
Wow.
I mean, you are here, right? This is
it's
not
a gorgeous house.
It's not worth 800,000.
Why? It's worth more, is it? Is that what you're saying, Walid?
It shouldn't be worth 800,000, right? So, when will the bubble burst? And do you think this is sustainable? I find that, in spite of all the things that we have talked about, identity politics, all those are important. But for Singaporeans, very few things are as important as HDB, CPF. This is really COE, exactly. Which are crazy, the prices.
First, thank you for asking me that question. As you know, I'm less of a politician and more of a policy wonk. So I'm a bit more comfortable talking about policies than politics still. And just to understand your anecdote, this you bought as a BTO.
Yes, correct.
So I'll give you another anecdote first, then I answer the question. So I live in a flat myself. I bought a resale flat. I bought a resale flat that was very old, 1984, built in 1984, and I bought it in 2018. So that was when I was 34 years old. I had fully expected the price to go down. I fully expected.
Right.
And 7 years or 8 years on, I don't think the price has gone down. Even though the lease has run a good 41 years already. It's past the 40-year-old mark. And then there are certain repairs that need to be made and all. But the value has not gone down. And that seems to be the case in the resale HDB flat market across Singapore. So my anecdote is about resale flats.
Right.
Resale flats, I thought I had the bad fortune of buying the most expensive flat, or one of the more expensive flats at that time in 2018. But we needed the space for my growing family. I wanted to live near my mum. So we bought the HDB flat quite nearby. We told ourselves this is not an investment. We think the price will go down and we're okay with that. I don't think the price has gone down. So resale flat prices have indeed gone up more than expectations.
Yeah.
I see them in two categories. So there's the resale flat prices like mine and the BTO flat prices like yours.
Right.
So BTO flat prices like yours have basically an implicit subsidy that's built into the price of the flat. So that the price of the BTO flats, if you ask me whether or not there's a bubble, the answer is that there is no bubble. On the basis that BTO flat prices are basically pegged or take reference from a certain multiple of your household income. And I think that number has been about 4 to 5 times the household income. So if someone were to BTO in Tampines, where we are now, or in other places of Singapore, there's a certain benchmark they use. It's about maybe 4 to 5 times of the typical household income in that area. So BTO prices will always be in that range. Compared to other cities, 4 to 5 times is relatively affordable, given that you will be working maybe 30, 35 years, maybe 40 years now. And so if you spend 5 years of your income to own a property that is 99 years in lease, that's generally okay. Resale flat prices are different. Resale flat prices have gone up quite significantly. I do think that a large part of it was because of the COVID delays. So because BTO flats were being delayed, a lot of people suddenly decided, hey, I cannot wait anymore. Maybe I'm getting married, maybe I have a kid coming along. I need to buy a flat more urgently. So they then enter the resale market and that drives the demand up. So you will see that manifest itself. I think this is not property advice. I do think that in the next 2 years, we should see resale flat prices moderate a bit.
Oh.
Why? Because there'll be a catch-up with the flats that were delayed for COVID. In my Whampoa area, we are seeing the catch-up already. We are welcoming new neighbours coming in.
So moderate, you mean increase at a decreasing rate, or it remains stagnant?
That one I don't know, but it won't increase at the recent historical rate.
Okay.
That's my sense. Many other factors drive the free market for property, including how the economy does, and whether or not we will do well as an economy in the next few years. So that one it's hard to tell as well.
Right. So
Yeah.
I can imagine if I were 25, 28, thinking of starting a family now, looking at the HDB prices can be quite demoralizing. Even BTOs, right? And not everyone can buy BTO also, because some people want to stay near their parents, that's their community, or it's caregiving,
Yeah. So I'm living in my second resale flat now. I actually bought the first resale flat because I entered the market maybe in 2011 after I got married, and we also had that issue. We wanted to live near our parents,
Right.
My parents, and in our mature estate there was no BTO. We didn't want to wait so long.
Right.
So I can completely empathize with that sentiment. And I'm not sure whether or not the sentiment is driven by a lot of the news that we see. I see that a lot in my area because we have the $1 million flats. In Jalan Besar, this is the city centre, so you have those DBSS flats that are selling for 1.2 million and 1.5 million or something, and those headline numbers drive a lot of the sentiment. As to whether or not BTOs are affordable, I still say they are. I think the real issue is with the waiting times. Personally, I feel like the waiting times are too long. And this is a policy point. In the past, the reason why we had the BTO system was because we built too many flats. That context no longer is the case, and maybe we should stop thinking about even BTO as a mechanism to allocate public housing. If you build flats ahead of demand, or build more flats ahead of demand, what you see is shorter waiting times, and what you should see is actually couples getting their flats a lot faster. I think that's very important, especially for fertility.
It sounds very reasonable.
Sounds very reasonable.
Yeah.
You think I should push for that?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I think for many MPs, including myself, we have so many ideas, but we also need to see how to prioritize our ideas, So yeah, but most certainly it's something that I think the government should think deeply about. Not just prices, but waiting times. 3 to 5. 3 years is no longer normal. Like people are waiting 4 or 5 years, and that's too long.
It's very long. And I mean, of course, we have the option of staying with parents and in-laws, but there's a lot of factors that may not make that palatable.
I also can empathize because my wife stayed with my parents for a year or so. So we went through the whole journey, the typical Singaporean journey.
Exactly. So I stayed with my in-laws for maybe a year and a half.
I hope that went well.
It did.
For the record,
I don't know
for the record, mum and dad.
It did. So, final substantive question. What
Anything,
is it that after, before the next parliamentary term, what is it that you wish to achieve as a backbencher?
I think I want to raise the structural issues in Parliament and to the government, where I know we talk about, we spend a lot of time during this podcast talking about politics and all. I think the greater challenge for us in the near term or the medium term has not been discussed enough, including issues relating to wealth inequality, which we have not solved, including issues relating to social mobility, which we've also not solved. And increasingly issues relating to the impact of technology on jobs. And I'm very concerned about economic growth without the commensurate job growth, which is what we're seeing actually, where economy is doing very well, but you have what you call a dual speed economy.
The job market is bad, right? My students are graduating, they're anxious.
It's a different time from when we graduated, because the job market in a certain segment is soft, it's difficult. But in another segment in our rank and file jobs, because I do a lot of F&B, so we have a large workforce. We have 1,000 more employees, of which the majority are in rank and file jobs. Those jobs are in real demand. Wages have gone up significantly, and but it's not the type of job that I think many people expect to do. But that could actually be a new phenomenon that we are seeing in the years ahead, and that's something that's also top of mind. So these are the issues that I hope to see at least starting to be tackled in this term of government. There are a lot of structural issues relating to our economy, even like our infrastructure, that I think we need to tackle.
And this is your domain, right? This is your expertise.
I would say I have some experience
doing
it.
No need for humility. No, but thank you. That was really good. The moment we talk about HDB, the comment section flooded.
So feel free to disagree with me. I think it's important that we disagree, and I think I said it earlier. What is important for me personally and for many of my teammates and our generation is to be able to disagree agreeably. In an agreeable manner.
It's so important. It's so important. So that's why I really appreciated the anecdote you shared about Pritam as well, which it shouldn't be surprising, right? If political rivals are speaking to each other, you're not enemies.
So I said it also during the election. We are not enemies. We are opponents. And there's a distinction there.
Right. Exactly.
And you don't want to win at all costs. Also, that's not the way of you want to live life.
Right. Stephanie Tan just joined. Hello.
Hi, Steph.
So, this is a light-hearted question, okay? So, who's your favorite PAP MP
Wow, Lawrence Wong.
I was.
No. That's a
Next
simple
time,
answer.
next time already, Minister.
No. Did I answer too fast? I'm kidding. But I'll answer that question more seriously later. But okay, sorry. Then go ahead. Do you want me to answer that
Your
first?
favorite opposition MP?
Okay.
Can be past and present.
Okay. So this podcast is a lot of fun. So my favorite PAP MP, and I mean this in all seriousness, especially this year, is actually Mr. Heng Chee Hao. My predecessor for 24 years in Whampoa and actually 27 years serving the same community. I think Mr. Heng Chee Hao, not many of your viewers, I think, or not many of Singaporeans actually know the good work that he did. One thing I can say from first-hand experience is that Mr. Heng built the team around the community and not himself. And because of that, the Jalan Besar GRC team and the Whampoa division is so much stronger. The volunteers are all there not for themselves, not for the rewards of recognition, but really to give their all for the community. I will continue that in the same way that he did, because as a good steward, you want to build the volunteers for the community. So one example is that we are prioritizing applicants who live there or who have lived in the community. So not those who want to volunteer with me because I'm Shawn, but because I serve in Whampoa and you want to volunteer for Whampoa. And so of course, I think Mr. Heng Chee Hao is my new favourite PAP MP. The Jalan Besar GRC team is great. We are, I mean, some people say, oh no, we are a team and we are great and all that, but maybe they don't know each other very well. But I can say, hand on heart, whether or not it's Josephine Teo, Denise Paul, Rizal, we have so much fun together. I'll make it brief. Rizal is just the most chill guy ever. He has 4 kids also.
I know him. Such a nice, humble guy.
I see him as a senior who has gone through the same journey just 5 years ago. Our kids are also 4 kids, also about the same age. He was me 5 years ago, basically, in terms of that age. Denise is just an energizer bunny. She has so much passion for the community, for the causes she champions. And she, oh my goodness, when you see people meet her, it's like they owe her their lives. That comes with full generational service. And Josephine Teo, of course, has been a great mentor. You see her actually not just in front of, behind the scenes, coaching you, telling you, Shawn, I think this is important to do, and I bounced a lot of ideas off her. And she makes time for that, even though she's super busy, right, as a minister. So I think the Jalan Besar GRC team, we really enjoy it. Whether or not we will contest and fight and win next time, I don't know, but we definitely enjoy the experience. The other question was on
favorite
opposition. I shared with you earlier, but no, I think not on camera, that I'm actually a resident of Potong Pasir all my life. So I've lived there, I grew up there, I was born there. And
I know what you're thinking, he didn't manage to vote.
And
he wasn't old enough.
And I'm on to my 3rd flat in the same estate. Our neighbours know us, our neighbours know my kids, neighbours know my mum, and we grew up in the community. So it's no surprise, I think Mr. Cham Sitong is also an exemplar of what it means to be a gentleman in a challenging political environment and to do what you think is right. So I think that is one chap that I think we always have a lot of respect for.
I think he's a national hero.
Yeah. Of course, if you talk about opposition MPs that I also like, I like the PAP MPs in the opposition wards, because I don't know about you, but when you see them behave themselves, they behave like the opposition. They behave like opposition. They really behave like opposition, which is, and they enjoy doing it. So I think it shows that you must treat the work seriously. You must treat the contribution to the country seriously, but never treat yourself too seriously.
Agreed. I love that. I love that. I think sometimes politicians treat themselves too seriously. I mean, it's a serious job, but you cannot treat yourself so seriously. Right? Must be willing to make fun of yourself.
Anything.
You mentioned.
We can continue longer. I don't know how long we. Actually, the thing is that Walid didn't tell me how long this podcast would be.
It's one.
Okay.
No, thank you. Can I? You mentioned growing up in Potong Pasir, right? I know you're gonna give me the PC answer.
Not the PC answer.
PM decide where you want to go. But let's say you could. PM say, okay, Shawn, choose. since you are being promoted to Minister of State or SMS.
Oh, really?
Let's say.
Is it because I said that I like him as the without much hesitation?
I want you to choose where you wanna. Would you say Potong Pasir? Because I think there's something compelling about saying I want to contest where I know this neighborhood, the people here know me.
So I think serving in the community you grew up in an affinity with has two benefits. One, it benefits the community because you actually know the community. You know where the problems are. A lot of our work is actually very localized, right? Which shelter away is leaking?
Right.
Who's feeding the pigeons in every block? That one you know because you grew up there. You spend every day walking to the MRT, you know, getting your kopi and all that. So you actually know the situation. So it benefits the community. It also benefits the community if you, the MP, have an affinity and therefore are more passionate to serve them. And I must say, because I started serving in Jalan Besar and Whampoa, I have a lot of passion for the community at Whampoa. I was just there this morning actually, and you know, people come up to you and say hi, and people just give their warmest smiles to you, even though they're rushing to the MRT. And it's something that grows on you. So the first part about being familiar, yes, it helps that you are geographically in the same place. But the second part about passion can apply to your work in the place you grew up, can also apply to your work in the place that you grow to love. Right. And I've definitely grown to love Whampoa and Jalan Besar GRC.
Such a PC answer.
Well, I'm this close to being a politician.
Okay, so just now you mentioned, I'm sorry, I said
no, go ahead.
Last question.
Go ahead.
You live in a HDB, and I think you're probably in the minority of MPs who live in HDB. I'm just wondering about the mechanics of it. When you go out to your neighbors, say, hey, I want you to do this, or hey, there's something going on. Does it happen?
Sometimes. I mean, I must say, I told you this story. When they first announced that I was contesting politics, the first thing my neighbor said was, wow, this guy can run for politics. Because all they know about me is me bringing my kids, walking to the childcare and all that, wearing my typical Singapore uniform, which is the army singlet and shorts, going to buy kopi in the morning. But I think if you have a genuine heart and if you have the passion to serve, people come up to you and you also are quite happy to solve their problems where possible. Alex Yeo, who's the MP for Potong Pasir, is a great friend of mine. When there are issues with Potong Pasir, I actually text him first. His response time is quite fast one. So feel free to text him.
Okay, his number will be in the
his number is in the lift in all our flats. So you know, so Alex Yeo is a great MP, and I think
Thank you so much, Shawn. It was such an enjoyable conversation. I really enjoyed it, and I really sincerely mean this. I wish you all the best. And you know, there has been a pattern, correlation, but I think there's causality as well. Everyone who comes on Teh Tarik usually gets promoted from the PAP.
Oh,
so
is that right? Is that right?
I know that you'll be a POH.
I see.
One day, very, very soon.
I mean,
election.
Whether that happens or not, many people have asked me that before. That's not top of mind by any.
But why though? Why isn't it? If you want to join politics, surely you want to be a political office holder to maximize the change you can effect.
So eventually, you want to make that positive change. But when you enter politics, the way I see it is that I'm entering not a career but a calling. The difference is that a career is a ladder you want to climb. A calling is a duty you have to something you have to answer, and wherever it takes you, you try your best to say yes. And because I see it as a calling, I'm convicted that wherever I try to serve, I'll do my best, and that's the best place for me. And in the private sector, the experiences that I'm building up here are most certainly immediately benefiting the debate and dialogue in Parliament already.
Right. Yeah. So you are basically, if I could paraphrase it, Minister of Finance, is that?
I was just, 10 months ago, I was just there.
Exactly.
Yeah. And I feel for my former MOF colleagues because today is 23rd. Usually we have a budget meeting on the 26th of December, one day after Christmas. It's almost like a tradition. So our heart goes out to all the hardworking civil service colleagues.
Thank you so much.
Who are working towards. No, thank you so much.
It's been such a pleasure.
Likewise. I mean, we started with saying that it's the best of times and the worst of times. the next line to that is that it was the age of wisdom and the age of foolishness. And my hope for Singapore politics and Singapore is that we'll have more wisdom and less foolishness in our conduct of policies and politics.
Beautifully said. Thank you
Thanks so much, Walid.
Bye-bye.
And thanks so much for joining us.
See you.